listening to the Shite Talk podcast show. Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again to the Shite Talk podcast show. Mark and Ken.
What's up?
On episode 228 of the Shite Talk podcast show.
There you go.
We spelled it out for you, and then we gave you the number.
Yeah.
So you know it's definitely correct.
You know that it's legit.
Yeah. And we have a really... I'm trying not to say, we have an interesting show, or it's been an interesting week in stories, so we can segue onto what we're talking about. But I will preference that we're doing this show late at night, so that went well last time. I'm pretty sure we got a lot of complaints. Friends and family alike.
Yeah. A lot of people felt personally attacked.
Personally attacked because they were probably personally attacked.
It's because of that snowflake 20-something generation.
Well, do you know what I do is don't name them directly and then insult them.
You don't name them directly. What, since last week?
Well, no. If I want to say something that might be like get back to the person, or I won't say about them. I won't name them personally.
Just give a brief description.
Just give a brief description and say that they're in this photo with me. Little digging, and I'm pretty sure they would know. Anybody would be able to link who I'm talking about.
Where did they train? And he said they've got a what tattoo? They studied what in college?
And they punch orphans, is what I should say. They punch orphans? And I think that's A-okay. All right. Yeah, well, we won't be talking about punching orphans, but we will be talking about punching down. And as we're talking, there's a lot of people being racist and out there these days. Or used to be accused of being racist. So we're talking about a few comedians that got themselves into hot water. Be unlike us to get ourselves into hot water now, wouldn't it be again? No.
We've never been in trouble.
No, never. There was also a podcast there. You were talking a while ago, but I don't know why they got themselves into a lot of trouble.
I think it's because they go out of their way to try and get themselves into trouble.
Yeah, I think that's a marketing ploy by some people. You know,
that's what we do too.
Yes, we're doing this on purpose.
Yeah, it's purposely offensive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We have our new Dave Duck. She's back again. Fart Jar Girl.
Yeah.
What is her name, by the way? I feel like at this stage we should be on at least first name basis with Fart Jar Girl.
Her name is Dave the Duck.
What's the female equivalent of Dave? Well, you know,
her name's Stephanie.
Stephanie. All right. Dave. What is a female? Danny? Would Danny be Dave? In girls, you know, there's like a
Davina, maybe.
Davina, yeah, Davina would be Davina.
Yeah, maybe.
That seems like a real. That seems like a real commoner's name. That seems like a real commoner's name. Davina, your dinner's ready.
That wasn't where you were going with it.
We all are learning. Yeah, so we're back talking about her. Like I said, we're going to be talking about, because there's been several kind of comedians who've got themselves into trouble, and like one of them anyway. Like it's kind of, if you're a fan of his comedy, him insulting people or things, or
it's his thing. Yeah,
it's kind of his thing. This is kind of like what he does. That's his stick. Don't go see him if you don't want to hear what he has to say.
Basically,
yeah. Then we'd also be talking about vaccines. This one isn't even about COVID. It's just about a fat people vaccine. So we're talking about that, if that's a good thing. Because you know how the whole thing around the pandemic was like, oh, why don't people just exercise? Well, no, we can actually give them vaccines so they just lose weight. 2 vaccines, Uh, and you don't
Two
have to
vaccines and you
and you don't
lose
have-
4 stone.
Yeah, and you don't have to leave your house. I remember a few years ago that I think it was like maybe in California. You probably can still get it done, but it's like a same material. It was like an airbag. Now this is definitely not scientific or possibly not even true. I'm just going to preface this now. But there was this thing where they inserted like a bag and filled it with air, so that you felt fuller for longer and you didn't eat. It's a whole kind of similar thing now. It was like it would make you lose weight.
Jesus.
You know what we need?
What? A fact checker?
Yeah, we need a fact checker.
Maybe one of the people that we commonly insult that have been calling for an apology recently could be a fact checker.
We'll never apologize.
Not again.
Until we're face to face, then we'll definitely apologize. As brave as we are on the mics, we're cowards off them. Yeah, and then we'll be talking about the new Batman movies. It's out next month. I have a DC comic book sleeve. In case you see me down in sleep, that's how you'd recognise me. And yeah, my favourite superhero is Batman. But I'm not a huge fan of Robert Pattinson, so we'll be talking about that. Have you seen anything of the Batman trailers or stuff come now?
I seen the most recent trailer.
Yeah, you're a DC comic fan. You follow the Legions of DC as well, if I can remember correctly.
Yeah, I really, really like Batman.
Yeah.
And I really, really hate Robert Pattinson.
I kind of feel, as much of a Batman fan as I am, and this is a controversial opinion, right?
Right.
Starting off controversial here. I think Batman's outdated.
Outdated?
Yeah, I think Batman could be shelved and a new hero take over.
Why?
He has a butler. It's like fucking Peter Parker, or not Peter Parker, Clark Kent. He works in a newspaper. Who the fuck reads newspapers anymore? He'd be unemployed in 2 years.
There are still people out there.
Yes,
but there are still people out there with butlers.
Very few.
No.
Yeah, they're generally like fucking a leader of some country. They have a butler.
Like a lot of there's a lot of like rich people with butlers and stuff.
Not really. They have cleaners and they have like people that do different things. They wouldn't have a butler.
Yeah, a lot of them do. Well, like they're not called butlers.
Name a person you know personally, Ken, that has a butler. Name one person.
A person that I know personally that has a butler.
Yeah, a famous person that you know. Well, they have a butler.
Like what do you like somebody that I actually know, or just somebody that I know of? Like
you know of Ken. I'd hardly doubt with your social contacts, Ken, that you know an actual person in your social circle that has a butler.
Well, you never know.
Well, okay. Do you? Do you know a person? Because that's the person to lead with. If you know a person who has a butler, lead with that person, please.
Well, like the Osbournes have a butler.
Do they?
Yeah.
Who does? All right, I never knew they had a butler. They're
like generally people who have like celebrities who have like two houses. Like, see, they're not always called butlers anymore because they just like live in the house while you're not there.
Yeah, but I still think he's a bit outdated. Batman.
I don't know.
There's a lot of things they either could redo Batman of, and Batman's my favorite superhero. But like, I think he could either redo Batman altogether, like change the story arc that he doesn't have Butler because that's a bit outdated. It's like Superman working in a fucking newspaper place. He probably wanted to change that. A blogger. There's no idea that like an alien from a different planet comes and tries to disguise himself as a blogger. Maybe an influencer would be more up to date. Or a podcaster.
Aren't they kind of like trying to reinvent Batman with the new future fucking arc thing?
Not really. They always kind of update it slightly, like. But he
still
has Penny, like Penny 1 is always still like his kind of like tech guy.
Yeah, like they killed. Like Bruce is dead.
Oh yeah, well that's in what? The one where like Commissioner Gordon comes and takes over as Batman.
No, like there's a current one where like Superman is Clark Kent's son, and he's bisexual, and Batman is a black guy.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, yeah. I also have given up on DC Comics as well.
There's a lot of giving out about it.
Yeah, I think create new superheroes. That's what I mean with Batman and stuff like that. Like the stories have been told. Move on from it, shelve it, and create something new. Because like either that or you're just going to ruin other people's superheroes on them. Like I just think like Static Shock was a great superhero and never really properly utilized. And there hasn't been any great superheroes come in the last 30, 40 years. In my lifetime, I can't really point to a superhero that's come along since maybe the 90s and I'm being like, oh yeah, that guy's new. Like I know Batman has introduced a few new kind of superhero or kind of sidekicks into the kind of Bat family. There's that girl with the purple hair.
Girl with the purple hair.
Yeah. You don't know what I'm on about. No? I don't know. He was in the new 50. She was in the new 52, I should say. Last comic book I've read of DC.
There was a brother and sister that DC introduced in Rebirth.
Hawk and Blade.
I can't remember what their names were.
Because they're not new, Hawk and Blade. But anyway, we'll move on. We'll start our show. Our favorite thing to talk about 2022 is Fart Jar Girl, or what's her accent, aka
Stephanie Matto.
Nato. She's Australian, by the way. Just gonna say that.
Is she actually Australian or is she American?
She's Australian. She was on a reality TV show where
she's on a reality TV show in Australia, but I don't know if she actually is Australian.
No, she was on a reality TV show where she had to try to get a guy to marry her in order for her to get her American visa. Because like
her profits is all in US dollars.
No, it could be in Australian dollars.
No, it gives it in Australian dollars too, but it's like she publishes it in US dollars.
Probably because she's Australian then. It'd be a bit weird if she was American and they gave it in US and Australian dollars.
Yeah, but like she publishes it in US dollars and then they have converted it to Australian dollars.
Yeah, no, she's Australian. I know this because I listened to a video. Everybody's talking about her. I think we started the ball rolling. Well, we got it from Lad's Bible, so we can't really claim that. But like Aussie Man Review was talking about her, and I think he said she was an Australian girl, nearly certain. So I use him as my fact checker. Plus, she was on a US TV show where she was trying to get a guy to marry her, or else so she can get a visa.
She is American.
What? So she was on a TV show, American citizen, trying to like screw the system. I wonder if that's so they didn't get fucked by the US Homeland Security. Because surely that's a crime, marrying someone just so you can get a visa.
Maybe.
It seems like a criminal offense.
Yeah, I think you have to prove it though.
I'm sure if you're on a reality TV show where that's the aim of it, it'd be pretty proven itself.
Yeah, you still have to, like, it's probably still hard enough to prove.
Yeah. There's probably like a disclaimer that person either already had their citizenship. Yeah, I imagine it's just like it is a disgusting thing to make a TV show. I was thinking about this today, oddly enough. I was also thinking about the Batman thing. I think a lot. And or maybe it was a few days ago. I don't know. Who cares? It's not a mute point. But it is a disgusting thing. Like having contestants fight over citizenship when you literally have on the Texas border kids in cages separated from their parents because they're trying to get in illegally into the United States. Like, it's a bit disgusting to make a reality TV show where people are, oh, let's try to get married to get our citizenship.
Yeah, but it's America.
Yeah, I'm just pointing out those. Anyway, why has Fart Jar Girl or Stephanie gotten herself onto the show this week?
So she has jumped on the NFT bandwagon.
All right.
And obviously, as we said before, she has run into medical issues with continuing her fart empire. So she's given up like the whole farting thing, but she has some jars left over that she is selling for. How much is she selling for? $1,000 a jar.
$1,000 a jar.
Yeah, and
but isn't she selling her farts for $1,000?
Yeah, now she's selling the jars for $1,000.
Like, if you don't get the fart, how is a jar worth £1,000 if you're not getting the fart?
Right. So she says you can get your hands on this very rare limited edition last of its kind fart jar. So I don't know if there is a fart in it.
Maybe she has some farts left over.
And she says that the resale value will be so much more in the future.
How's this an NFT?
I don't know.
Do you know what an NFT is, Ken?
Yeah, we covered this already.
Yeah, it's a non-fungible token. It's basically proof.
Yeah,
but it's like meant to be a digital thing.
Yeah, well,
you can't have an NFT of an actual thing. Then you're selling a jar on the internet. That's not an NFT.
She's doing an actual thing.
You hear there's talking about NFTs real quickly. We'll get back on the Fart Jar Girl. But there's a band releasing an album with 1,000 songs on it.
To fuck with Spotify.
Yeah, on Spotify. It's fuck with Spotify, but they're all like 30 seconds long.
Yeah, because after 30 seconds is what counts as a stream on Spotify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine
it's genius.
Yeah, well, it's genius. We could do that. Our podcast in 30 seconds form.
Yeah, you could actually.
There was a podcast out about trading, and he gave it like advice on trading. But all of his podcasts were like a minute long for that reason. They're really like they'd only have like a few sentences, and it was listen to the next podcast for more tips, and then we'll go on to the next one. It'd be like you'd listen to 5, but like you wouldn't get past 5 minutes. Or like something less than a minute, something like a minute and a half would be the longest. It would be.
That would like really piss me off.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, no, and your man has a very like American voice, and it seems quite fake, but everything's very well produced, so it sounds lovely to the ear. So.
Fucking Americans
and their high tech fucking audio equipment.
Yeah, they're fucking audible.
Anyway, so she's selling empty jars as NFTs, which is not an NFT, which is kind of annoying.
You can kind of argue that they were always empty jars.
They were meant to have some hot air in it.
Yeah, some hot air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never got my hot air. Her largest market is in India, Ken.
That's I don't know if that surprises me or not.
It doesn't surprise me. No, it doesn't surprise me at all. I don't know why. But it actually does surprise me. Why are Indians buying people's farts?
Why not?
But like, was this TV show shown over in India? Is there like, was she like some kind of like crush for Indian people? Is I don't know. It's just like, oh, this is a Western product. Because you know, everything probably says in India, made in India. And they're like, oh, made in Australia. Oh my God, this must be great. Or wherever she lives. Now we're just confused because like she's pretending to be Australian. Ken does some like deep research and found out she's actually American, trying to get her own citizenship.
The deep research was literally just Googling it.
Oh, really? Fart Jar Girl, yeah. Stephanie, whatever.
Yeah, nationality.
Oh, I can't believe she was on a show trying to be a US citizen. That is disgusting. I don't know why I don't that. But imagine like RTE trying to do something like that, but instead of using Irish people, they use people who are like trying to sail on boats. They're like, we got them, and now they have 30 days to find a husband, or else we ship them back on that boat, that dinghy that we found.
And then it has on the ad for it. It just has some fucking little
teenager in a bride's dress on a inflatable boat. You know those banana boats.
Does he have any frontage?
Yeah, I'm looking for a farmer. I want frontage. I just love about someone who's escaped Syria on a dinghy and then is trying to decipher after just learning English what a person from like West Cork is trying to say. And she has 30 days to figure it out, or she goes back on the inflatable dinghy.
In fairness, the rest of us are still trying to figure out.
No, exactly. We'd have her a lecture in a college if she could do that now, in fairness. She'd be a well-paid woman. But yeah, the whole thing is a bit disgusting. When you have like such a bad immigration problem, where you're separating families and then you're then making a TV show about it, like as if it's a light-hearted joke.
Yeah, you're just fanning around, really.
You really are fanning about. Should we talk about Jimmy Carr? Because he's one of the comedians that has got himself into hot water. So much hot water that 15,000 people have signed a signature. I wonder if there's just like a group of people that are like, oh, sign this signature. And they don't know what they're signing, but they sign it. So then they can go to like some media outlet and say, we have 50,000 people who signed this signature. And people are just randomly signing it because they're part of this kind of like...
herd mentality.
Yeah, you got kind of herd mentality. You know, you often see with podcasts where people would like ask you to send a link, and then everybody who posts their podcast on the comments, everyone clicks into their podcast and then rates it 5 stars on like iTunes. So then, like, it's way screwing the system that you're like, oh well, if you do it for us, we'll do it for you. I wonder if there's the equivalent in terms of like these like, fucking signatures, these petitions, where you just like there's like a petition group where you're just like, everybody sign this petition, and they don't know what they're signing, they just sign it because like when you want a petition signed, you'll have X number of people to do it.
It could be.
Yeah, it could be. Anyway, because like knowing the comedian that Jimmy Carr is, I don't know how many people who were going to click and watch and go, oh, Jimmy Carr has a special on Netflix, and not knowing that he's going to probably insult something that you hold dear to yourself.
Yeah, like it's kind of what he does, like it's his thing.
Yeah, it's literally his thing. That like it's like kind of going to his show. He will find you and he will insult you.
And he will be happy about it.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone's going to laugh at you. Some of it is like fucking like put downs or things where he like singles out people in the audience, is like they're with their mom and he like rips them a new one. And they're like, is it go over to some lads where like groups of lads, and he's like, what, do you like boys? There's a teenager over there. You're just like, yeah, he's hilarious. I actually watched this special myself.
I don't really like him.
Do you not like him?
No.
I remember you saying this before. What do you not like about him?
I just don't like. I don't know. I just don't like him. I just like. I don't know. I don't find him funny. All
right. So you probably didn't watch the special.
No, but like I know the joke.
Yeah. So like I literally, you have to go out your way. Like you have to be. First off, you have to have a Netflix subscription. Which let's face it, everybody has a Netflix subscription. But then you have to click onto the show. Like it's not like we have everyone in the world has 3 channels, and that Jimmy Carr special was on one of the 3 channels, and you had nothing else to watch, and you watched it, and you were really offended. Like you have to go out of your way to get offended at this joke. Like
yeah, like, that's the kind of thing that I don't understand. Like I don't understand. Like people know Jimmy Carr. I know I don't like Jimmy Carr, so I don't watch Jimmy Carr.
Yeah, exactly.
Like-
Because like another person who got themselves in trouble was Joe Rogan a while ago, and there's some things I kind of think there is a for Joe. I think there is a group of people or community out to get Joe at this stage. It's like someone went through all of his podcasts and found a certain word that he said over and over again and made a compilation. That would have took fucking hours. That's a project. That is
I
a
think
really long project.
that came about because he deleted specific episodes, and then people watched YouTube clips of those specific episodes to see, why did he delete that episode?
All right. Yeah. There's certain, but even still, you have to go out your way to find that he deleted episode. I regularly listen to Joe Rogan. I had no idea he deleted episodes. So you have to the idea. You still have to put in legwork in order to do that. So I think there's a sinister group out to get Joe Rogan. Not to say too conspiracy theory about it, but it is but then one of the things that he said, whatever about, because a lot of times when he said that word, he was discussing how odd it is. He was discussing it as, isn't this an odd thing that this is really the only word now that you can say that has this much power that you can't actually say in its actual meaning, but yet other people can use it in songs, and that's what he was talking about. So he wasn't even using it in a racist way. He's just using it in a, isn't this an interesting thing? Isn't this peculiar in our language? Which it is. Now it's kind of just a lot more words you can't really say out loud. But back then, that was always the word that you can't say.
I don't know. Joe Rogan kind of annoys me lately.
Yeah, but then the one thing that really screwed him over was the story about Planet of the Apes. That story
about what?
The Planet of the Apes. So he told a story on his podcast, and he went on to Instagram and he owned up to it. He said there is this other story that was out there where, and he said I'm actually thankful that this has actually come to light, because at least now I have the opportunity to apologize. And he is I think it was about when he was saying he was going to Planet Apes with his friend, and he got really high and drunk, and the taxi driver left them off in a black neighborhood, and he was describing the story, and he was saying that it was like being in the Planet of the Apes, and he said that was fucked up, and there's no way of making that sound any way better. It was a disgusting thing to say, and he apologized for it and all the rest. And so at least he owned up to it. On podcasts, and I've said stuff that we've deleted from this podcast before. You do say shit. Lucky enough, ours is recorded, and even there's probably some stuff that we said that has slipped through the net where we didn't delete it. That I said, oh well, that was probably stupid. People do say stupid shit. Him with his podcast that's recorded live. They're 3 hours long. A lot of time he's doing them drunk and high with his friends. I can kind of stuff slips out. But then again, once again, with the whole kind of same thing with Joe Rogan as with Jimmy Carr, if you have to go out of your way to be offended by this, you have to go onto Spotify or onto iTunes, find his podcast and play it. There's thousands of other podcasts out there you can listen to that aren't Joe Rogan. And like that, I'm the same with you. Since this pandemic, I've found it very, very hard to listen to Joe Rogan because he's a scratch record. So I just tuned out. For a lot of part, I was tuned out of listening because I didn't want to listen to him going over the same talking points.
Yeah, he has gotten very repetitive and very annoying. I find since he went on to Spotify, he's just fucking annoying.
Oh, really? You think it was the Spotify deal that made him annoying?
Yeah, there's just something there that's just, he's fucking annoying.
Yeah. And getting back on the Jimmy Carr thing, because 15,000, I think one of his friends is a Jewish comedian, and he said I don't think he was saying he should be cancelled over this, but I think he was fighting with the kind of this was cross the line, he shouldn't have said this. for a comedian to say that, I think that's all his jokes that he made that night, and even he said this is the stuff that will get me cancelled. He was prefacing this show like this is like the joke that will be the one to end my career, and he said, and everyone started laughing, and like I've like the joke. Oh, I'll say what the joke is first. I think.
Is that a good idea?
Well, I don't think we can get in trouble for quoting them. We're not agreeing them. So he was talking about World War II. He says, everyone talks about tragedy and horror of 6 million Jews being killed by the Nazi war machine. But no one ever mentions thousands of gypsies that were killed by the Nazis. And he pauses and he was like, no one ever talks about, because no one wants to talk about the positives. And that was the whole joke. He was basically saying that it was a positive that they did that. And the audience kind of applauded and laughed.
Like, I always find it strange that there's things that you're like allowed to laugh at and make fun of, and things that you're not.
Well, see, like, I read that out, and that, like, when you read it out, it kind of sounds disgusting because, one, I'm not a comedian and I'm not trying to make it a joke. Two, he's not actually he's not stating as a state of fact that was. He's saying that, oh, isn't it odd that, like, everyone does talk about the millions of Jews that are killed in concentration camps? No, but no one ever really does mention that's the actual fact. No one does mention it, and it's because in society, no one really likes gypsies, and that's a fact that in society today, gypsies have a bad name. In England, gypsies have a bad name, and that he isn't saying that that's his point of view, but he's saying as society, and he's just bringing up that he's highlighting that as a matter of fact in society that gypsies don't have a good name in society. And he's just stating that he isn't stating that as his opinion. He's just making a joke of it. He's bringing it to light. It isn't his opinion. It's a joke. So that's why I thought of it. Like, I didn't see it necessary. He goes, no, I believe.
That brings me to another point. I can't remember who said it. Some comedian said before that all comedy should be slightly offensive because it brings people to talk about subjects that they wouldn't necessarily normally talk about.
Yeah.
You know, like Jimmy Carr made that joke, so now people are actually talking about, well, I know people are like giving out with Jimmy Carr, but it might make some people actually go, you know what?
Yeah, like, I think the idea a good joke will make you think of, actually. It's not like, what did he mean by that? It's kind of like, it's his way of indirectly talking about a subject. He's just making light of it. He's not agreeing with it. He's not saying that this is his fact. But he's just like, people don't really talk about thousands of gypsies that are killed.
I still hate him.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of comedians, like, I think one of the guys from the In-Tweeners saying that people's fondness of, like, of being offended is killing comedy. Chris Rock said that comedians are scared to make a move, and I think even Tommy Tiernan said something about, like, if you make a joke that's not funny these days or it doesn't land, you're taken out to the street and something like quartered online about it, like gutted and quartered because
you're going back to comedy. Like, comedy is going to go back to being like fucking Brendan Grace and shite like that. Like,
I don't know, because I remember not to circle back to Joe Rogan again, but like Quentin Tarantino was on this thing, and he said there was a cycle. He seems to think that this is a cycle, and he says like,
the
80s were, 80s. I think he said the 80s were really bland, really safe, and then the 90s were a bit wild. And he says now we're in an area where it's gone very, like, it's gone safe again, and then eventually people get sick of it and go, oh fuck it, we're just going to do what we want to do, and people will watch it if they want to watch it. I kind of think there's starting to that happen because, like, with the Netflix special, who's the other comedian that they had? There was a fucking uproar about.
I think Dave Chappelle got in trouble.
Dave Chappelle got in trouble over it, and now Jimmy Carr. But Dave Chappelle's special wasn't touched. They didn't actually didn't take it down. And
did they take down the Jimmy Carr one?
No, they haven't taken the Jimmy Carr one down. So and even Spotify said, well, we're not going to suppress Joe Rogan over this. We're not going to kick him off Spotify over this. Here's what we're going to do. This is what other platforms have done. So if he's talking about COVID, there's going to be an advisory to kind of more mainstream advice around COVID. And that's what I think they're just going to have a warning label. Here's a warning label.
A warning label for something that you're going to just not pay attention to anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It was just kind of, basically their way of saying, well, if you don't like it, just, go somewhere else.
Yeah, just fuck off.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of like, because you remember Neil Young was one of the people said who took his music off Spotify over the whole Joe Rogan thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, he also probably at some point complained about everybody is too easily offended and cancel culture. and then he tries to get somebody cancelled and got easily offended. Like,
I don't know. I don't know too much about Neil Young, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know nothing about Neil Young, but like, if you try to get someone banned off a platform for something that they said, you can talk about people being too easily offended because you are one of those people. So we'll move on to what are we on to now? So we're talking about the Jimmy Carr. We'll go on to the interesting things. Let's talk about fat people.
Talk about what?
Fat people. So there's a vaccine out about to stop people from gaining weight. Now I think it was made originally in the US, but it's been approved by the UK. So 1,000 soon.
No one ever.
Yeah, so 1,000 soon could be like availing of this weight loss jab. So like I think 12.4 million adults in the UK are obese, and about 1.3 million of them are thought to be morbidly obese. The cost of it up to the NHS is thought to be about £6.1 billion every year that's spent on like treating people who suffer with obesity.
And like, how does this thing work?
Or is it, what was this? Obesity epidemic reported costs 6.1 billion and a wider 27 billion every year. Jesus. I don't know what 6.1 billion is a month. I'll do maths on there. According to the government estimates. So, what this, like, I don't know, I think what this vaccine does, I don't know if we should be calling it a vaccine. What this jab does, let's just call it a jab right now. Basically, it makes you feel fuller for longer, so you just don't eat as much.
Like, how?
I don't know. To be honest, I'm trying to find it here. Patients inject themselves with smegula, which can suppress your appetite by mimicking the hormone glucagon like peptides or GLP-1s that are released after eating. So that's how it works. So it releases a hormone that makes you feel full.
It's a bit mad, like.
Yeah. 12% of people on average, people lost 12% body weight after 68 days of taking it. So I don't know if you have to continuously take it, and it lowers your appetite for 68 days. So I take it you do have to continuously inject yourself. I
imagine you probably do, yeah.
Yeah, because so I imagine probably you have to inject yourself every day.
or multiple times a day.
Yeah. So what do you think of this as a way of tackling treatment?
I don't know. Like,
there's two ways to look at it. One way you could be a pessimist and say, well, people aren't going to go out, diet and exercise. We've seen this from the pandemic. We've seen this from people either don't have time or people like aren't arsed. Just people are kind of stubborn in their ways or whatever, and just give them something that you can stick in their arm because this is probably easier for them. Like if you're pessimistic, you'd say that.
I don't think it'll solve the problem of people being fat, but it won't solve the problem of the strain on the health service.
Yeah, like heart disease and stuff like that. Like
or like stuff like because you've got is it visceral fat, the one that attaches itself to your organs?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If you're eating like highly processed fatty foods, like you're still going to have high cholesterol, even if I think the idea is that you don't eat as much. Like so, you're just not going to consume as much food, so you're not going to consume as much like harmful fats, and I think that's the idea of it. That you won't be able to eat as much.
You're probably also going to do less exercise or continue your.
I imagine I'm gonna throw a huge curveball here. I imagine if you're morbidly obese, you're not doing a whole lot of exercise there, Ken.
Yeah, but so you're going to still have all the health problems that are associated with being obese.
Yeah, and like I don't even think exercise, because I know a lot of people who train and they're overweight. Like I don't think exercise personally is a great way of losing weight. I think some people lose weight and exercise, but like I think like a large part of what you losing weight is down to what you put in your mouth or don't put in your mouth. So in that way, if you weren't putting as much in your mouth, well, yeah, I kind of agree with you. Like if you're not taking proper nutritional steps along the way to decrease your calories and that you're taking in, your body isn't getting probably enough right amount of vitamins, proteins that you need to build a healthy, strong body to support yourself.
Yeah, like so. It's only really, I would imagine, it's only really going to work on a superficial basis.
Yeah, and like then the people who like will they even bother? Like I think some people who want to lose weight and has probably tried, but for whatever reason has a relationship with food that's unhealthy. Like it has either eats it as a comfort blanket. So for whatever reason they overeat because of certain stresses in their life or whatever. People have a bad relationship with food. So for these people, maybe if they take this thing and they'll lose weight because they physically won't be able to eat, it will make them sick. If it's something like that, then it might help those people. But I think there's a larger problem that this doesn't like take in. Plus, it's like really bad advice for new parents. This is like your government's advice for your kids is let them eat what they want. Why have the hassle of annoying teenagers saying that they want sweets? Let them have their sweets, and just inject this thing into their arm, and they'll be okay. Like that is that going to be the advice really that we're going to give to parents? It's like no, let them have their sweets. They're going to be paying the hole otherwise. Just inject this into them once a day, and then you'll be fine. You're being a good parent.
I wonder how many people will reject it because it's experimental and it's unproven.
Yeah, exactly. It'll make you thin. Give me it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you lose weight by killing you.
You don't know what's in it. Where's that line of cocaine gone?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, as like a person who's never really suffered obesity, I kind of feel like I shouldn't have a really opinion on this. I remember like I changed my eating habits because I was starting to get chest pains. Like I was eating like a lot of chocolate, and I wasn't overweight or anything like that. It's probably what kids today call skinny fat. But I started to get chest pains, And I was like, this is not good. I'm going to change my diet. And that's why I did it. So like, well, I'm not eating the health. I'm probably, I have a safe BMI, but I'm definitely don't have a healthy diet. So I changed it for that reason. But like, I imagine if a person, okay, they're losing weight, but they're still not eating great foods, like, and it doesn't also say how much this vaccine or this treatment's going to cost. Is obviously, if they're in England, it's going to be paid by the NHS.
Yeah, but, I don't know.
27 billion though a year is down to like. I wonder what the figure is. How do they break down that's 27 billion? How do they break that's down to being fat? That's down to being morbidly obese.
I don't know.
Is it just in heart-related diseases? Because like, there's people who aren't obese who have heart-related disease. Is it sort of genetic, or is it down to like, I don't know, people being crushed at night? People like dying of like, you know, they have to have that breather thing.
Fucking, what's it called? I can't even remember what it's called.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how you measure something like that.
Yeah, I don't know how you measure it. So what's your verdict on it? Do you think like, oh, well, I guess lazy people will have a treatment? Or are you down to like, I still think because like they have been pushing, and I know it's been a flawed way that they have pushed it to get people to eat healthier, and like the food pyramid was a bit of a fucking joke, and like but they have been trying since the 60s to get people to lose weight themselves, and hasn't really worked.
I don't think it'll solve anything because you lose the weight, but you're still going to be unhealthy.
Yeah, exactly. I feel the same thing. I think like you're still going to be eating shit. So like, okay, you're still not going to have energy because you're eating shit, and okay, you're losing weight, but your food sources are going to be like, say, still probably high calories. But there's going to be less of it. So you'll probably eat half a breakfast roll and then feel like you can't finish the rest of it. Then you're going to have like, you're going to leave half your Chinese behind or whatever. And that might be all that you eat. I remember there's one guy that I worked with before. And he was morbidly obese. And he ate once a day. That's all he ate, was once a day. And he's a fucking huge guy. Now, I think he said he had some sort of issue. I don't know what it was. He loved food. No, he was like, I think, I don't know what he was telling me about before. The reason why he had, like, he used to make fat jokes about himself. I think it was that was must be a coping mechanism where you just insult yourself, so like no one does it before you.
Yeah, nobody else does it.
Yeah, exactly. But like he was talking about, he had this thing. But like he said I only once say, and I kind of looked at him going, I didn't want to be mean or and be like, you doing your fucking hole, because I was like, oh, what do you eat? I don't know what he said to eat. It must have been a lot.
I used to only eat once a day.
Yeah, did you find that helped? Did you lose any weight?
Like I was not fat at the time.
All right, well then, yeah, it worked. And now you are.
Thanks, Mark.
No, but in a good way.
In a good way. Is there a good way?
No. I'm worried about you. This is actually an intervention.
Oh no.
No. When I first met you, you were like 60 kilos, and now you're not.
Yeah. I used to compete at 65 kilos.
65 kilos. Well, I used to compete at 65 kilos as well.
Yeah, and now I'm 82 or something.
And now I'm 70 something. Yeah.
So, yeah.
When I first started training jiu-jitsu, like first ever, like came into the door, I was 75, and then when I started training and kept exercising, I went down to about 71, 72, and now I'm back to 75. So
I think you need a fat injection.
Yeah, exactly. I need the opposite. What you're saying. Yeah, but like, I don't know. I'm with you with this thing of like, I don't think it necessarily solves like the issue. Is people just going to take this pen instead of actually, doing?
Because even as it is, like you could be
skinny
like
fat. No one wants to be skinny fat. That's not.
like, you could be skinny and have like a fucking really really fat heart.
Yeah, or those like you're just fluffy. Have you ever seen someone who's skinny but they're fluffy?
Fluffy.
Yeah, they're just like they're just a ball of dough. They're not overweight, but they're just dough. They're fluffy. That's what I used to be. I used to be that person. I used to be fluffy. I wasn't fat. I wasn't overweight. I was just fluffy. There was no muscle there. It's just like a ball of skinny dough. That's all. Like. I think what I'll do.
Okay.
And then when I go on holidays, I come back the same way for Christmas.
A stuffed turkey.
Yeah, it's a little bit fluffier. We'll talk about someone that's a little bit fluffier. Bad segue, but Robert Pattinson is making our show today. I nearly put him as an idiot of the week.
Go on, we can. Go on. We need one.
He's an idiot of the week. All right, Robert Pattinson, you are an idiot of the week. So he's playing Batman next month in the Batman movie. Like person to get a Batman move to play Batman. Huge character, huge, like one of the biggest superheroes of all time. I think commercially second biggest to Spider-Man. And probably the biggest superhero DC have. So
yeah,
you imagine coming out and all around Batman, like you want to look like the character, you want to embrace the character. He has done nothing but fucking complain about being Batman.
Like I don't understand why he took the role, because.
Yeah.
Personally, if somebody came to me and said, "We want you to play Batman," I'm going to go, "Fuck no," because the training regime that's going to go into that is going to be fucking insanity.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. First of all, he was complaining that like, oh, they wanted me to get into shape, and I don't want to get into shape because there was a Western out a few years ago when your man wasn't in shape. So I don't think I should be getting shape for this fictional character who is in really good shape. So he refused to work out, and as Batman he looks ridiculous. He looks ridiculous in the Batman suit. He looks like
I think the Batman suit that he has, I think looks ridiculous, and the Batmobile looks fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. I also think that like I like the look of the movie. I think the movie looks the feel of it looks really good. Kind of reminds me of a bit of a horror movie. There's gonna be a lot of jumping points in it, but in terms of his suit and the way he looks in the suit, I don't think it looks good.
Yeah, I think it looks stupid.
Now, a lot of people think I'll be like, I'm just slagging him off because he's in Twilight and it isn't cool to like Twilight. I actually do like Twilight movies. I actually thought they were actually alright.
Cool.
I know I'm not cool. But anyway, this time he was complaining again about the movie. He said it was his mental health that was suffering because of the movie.
Ugh.
And do you think how like when your man played the Joker, Heath Ledger played Joker, yeah. When he played Joker, he had to get in the mentality of a psychopath. And so he spent like hours in a dark room alone in order to get that, and that actually drove himself insane in doing so, and he ended up taking his own life.
Yeah,
you think maybe he tried to do that for Batman? No, it was just that all the filming was mostly at night. So he doesn't like doing nights, Ken. Basically, he doesn't like working at night. It took a mental toll on him, and they had to build him a tent
To build him a tent.
They had to build him a tent because apparently he couldn't go outside. He's telling like GQ magazine, saying that he had to basically in a bubble. He said the nature of shooting at night took a mental toll on himself, and then he was saying that he basically couldn't read. He had to wear the mask, and the mask. He kept flipping, talking about as a mask and saying it was a cowl, and talking about the cowl and saying that's not the mask but the cowl, and he said it's hard to read with the cowl on or the mask, and he was like he couldn't read, so he just listened to electronic music in a tent to unwind.
Like, okay, if it took a mental toll on him, okay, fair enough, like, great. But I really don't know why he took the role.
Yeah.
Like, he's done nothing but fucking moan.
Yeah, like, he does say that, like, oh, yeah, it's obviously a huge honor to play Batman, blah, 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 and I was happy. And the director said he wrote this Batman for him. And, like, I was talking to one of the guys that we trained with, and he said, oh, well, this Batman's meant to be, he's writing him a bit different, that he has addiction issues, or he's mentally, like, traumatized from this. He's a damaged Bruce Wayne in the sea, so he isn't the kind of playboy guy who comes back to Gotham and wants like set out on a mission to fix Gotham after it took its parents, and he's determined. This is a person who's emotionally damaged after what happened to his parents and went away, but still kind of emotionally affected by it. And this is the whole idea of the Batman. It's like
I can understand that, but like,
yeah, I can understand that, and I can I'm sure. Here's the thing: I'm gonna bitch and complain about this, and I'm
go see it,
and I'm still gonna see it, and I'll probably like it. See, that's the thing. I'm gonna go, oh yeah, it was amazing, and then people will listen to this episode and go, all you did was bitch and complain about how you don't like Batman, Robert Pattinson, and he's not going to be Batman. Yeah, I'm probably going to be convinced that was a good movie, despite the way Robert Pattinson looks as Batman. Because I do like the feel of the movie. I do like the kind of horror-esque kind of how they're kind of playing that looks right now.
Yeah, I just really, really fucking hate him.
Yeah, like maybe. Like, I understand because he's 35, which is, I think, is the age that, like, that Bruce Wayne comes back to Gotham as a 35-year-old, or in his 30s, I think, during the comics. It just fluctuates, depending on the storyline to the movie. But, like, they kind of say he's in his 30s, generally speaking. So, like, he is at the age of, like, year one Batman. And I wouldn't mind a year one Batman. I think that's all. If the character is going to develop on to be the hero that we know, so if he starts out as the way we see him now, he's kind of a little bit skinnier, a little bit kind of like afraid, a little bit kind of traumatized still from it, but he develops into Ben Affleck. Then yeah, I get it. Then it's a good transformation. Like if who he's playing, is what Ben Affleck was. So like this is set before necessarily Ben Affleck, Batman vs Superman. Then I get it. But if they're the same Batman, but if they're a different Batman, and if it's different kind of universe, I don't want Robert Pattinson to be the new Batman.
Yeah, I'm still out on it. Like I don't like him. I will go see the movie.
Yeah, do you think you'll like it based on the trailers and all? How you?
No,
you don't think you'll like it?
No.
What don't you like about it?
He just seems really fucking emo.
Yeah, there is a kind of hint of emo off him. Yeah.
Like, I don't like it.
Is it set in present time though, or is it set in kind of 90s, or is it? Have you heard that about it?
I don't know. I would imagine it's probably set in present time.
Yeah.
Although the stupid crappy car would suggest that it's fucking set in the 60s.
Well, I would say 90s. And especially with his hairdo. His hairdo looks kind of weird now.
His hairdo always looks weird. It's just a Robert Pattinson thing.
Yeah.
He has to look like fucking prat.
He kind of reminds me, like, him as Bruce Wayne reminds me of, like, a recovering drug addict.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're going for.
Yeah, like you said, damaged soul. I know one of our friends that are, like, into comic books, and he's really excited about the whole thing. He kind of likes the whole look of it, of the Robert Pattinson as Batman and stuff like that. And I was like, you're a joke.
If this is who I think it is, he's going to be complaining again.
Oh, he can play on all the legs. Did I mention his name? As George R. R. Martin said about Adam West, he is not my Batman. I think we'll leave it there for the show.
Adam West is okay.
Yeah, see, I grew up with Adam West. See, so I like it. I like the whole 60s Adam West Batman because I was a child watching it.
Yeah.
But imagine if I was in my 20s to 30s, Adam West Batman would have been a fucking horrific joke. A bad one at that. How dare they put this shite out? I'd be with George R. R. Martin, but since I was a child watching it, I'm like, I love it. I wanted my villain sleeve to be kind of inspired by Adam West's Batman, because that what got me into comic books. I was watching Adam West's Batman, so he is my Batman.
Kevin Conroy is my Batman.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna ask people that. Who's your Batman? Who was it that got you into Batman?
We should do a poll on it.
Do an old shite talk poll. We'd love to have polls to do. Here's a poll for you.
You're going to be surprised the amount of people are going to say Christian Bale, though.
Is there Batman?
Yeah.
That's they'll take that as who's your favorite Batman.
Yeah.
See, I'm not saying Adam West is my favorite Batman. He's definitely not my favorite Batman, but he is he's the first. Who's your first Batman? I guess is a good way of putting it.
Kevin Conroy is my first Batman, and Kevin Conroy is also my favorite Batman.
All right. Go home ugly early is Ken's motto as well. Yeah. Well, Adam West is the one that I grew up watching, so that's what got me into comic books. I used to get up early to watch Batman on a Sunday.
Yeah, me too. On a Sunday morning, a Saturday morning, and a Sunday morning.
Yeah. And then the 90s comic book, the cartoon, I also used to like watch.
Yeah, the Kevin Conroy one. Yeah.
Oh, is he the voiceover for?
Yeah, he was the voice of Batman.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I used to fight with my fucking sisters over that. Over who watched. Because he used to be on the same time of Simpsons in our house. And we used to murder over. 2 TVs is a blessing though then. We got our second TV. Jesus. Why couldn't you record it?
Yeah, that's always the one. Yeah. Just record it.
No, we didn't have. There was no such thing as record. You couldn't record TV when I was a child. Back in my day,
you could, but you needed a tape.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you could. Yeah. Remember? Yeah, my uncle used to record all these movies, and you could fast forward the ads. I was like, "What? This is amazing."
Yeah, well, what's this?
In the future, you'll be able to do this like in live TV. How will that work? Anyway, I think we'll leave it there.
We'll leave it there.
Yeah. We'll be back next week, we hope, with a brand new show.
A brand new show?
Brand new, yeah. I guess, isn't that what we bring every week? Shows?
So sometimes it's a bit recycled.
Yeah. We got shite. It might be old. It might be new. It might be runny. It might be blue.
It might come from me or it might come from you.
But you can order if you're from, I don't know.
Timbuktu.
Timbuktu. I was going to say somewhere in India. I was like, better not. Anyway, see you next week.
Good luck.
Oh, no.